Should be able to hear me now, guys. Thank you so much for letting me know there was no sound. So here's what I wanted to tell you guys. Now, please understand if you're a member of my private community, guys, we are publicly streaming. So I'm not going to share any content that we discuss inside my private community on this live stream. But what I am going to do is I'm going to tell everybody how I picked the crypto that just rose 75% in 7 hours. 75% in 7 hours, guys. So if you're a part of my private community, guys, you're going to have some understanding of what we were doing last night. But if you're not a part of my private community, what we were doing last night was we were using the indicators that I have been sharing with you all, and we were going over certain coins that might be possible, buying opportunities to get into certain moves in the crypto space. And I told everybody last night that this would be a good opportunity for each and every person to make their own decisions as to what coins they wanted to get into last night. And before I went to bed, after I did the live stream inside my private community, I actually purchased a total of 3 coins. 3. Now, the last one that I purchased, ironically, was one that had just gone on a bit of a bull run, and it was in a significant pullback. And my indicator told me, if I can shrink up my, let me pull it up on the screen for you guys. I'm going to show you what my indicator showed me and why I bought this coin last night. Now I'm going to show you Bitcoin. Okay. But I'm going to show you Bitcoin, or am I going to show you Bitcoin? Not necessarily. Let me try. Here's potentially one. No, that's not one either. I'm trying to show you how this is good. Here's a nice one. Dogecoin. All right. So Dogecoin, this is how this indicator works. I've told you guys, it's my favorite indicator. This is called the market cycle highs and lows. And this is what caused me to buy the coin last night that I'm referring to. But please remember, I'm only going to show you example coins on this chart to show you how I did what I did last night. I'm not going to show you the coin that I bought last night, because that is just simply information for my private community. But I can show you how you can use this tool if you decide to do it on your own, because the instruction last night to my private community was to simply make a decision for themselves as to what coins they believe might be a good entry to get into right now. And I decided to use the indicator after giving that instruction. Not everybody has the indicator inside my private community, point blank. Not everybody chose to grab the indicator inside my private community. Fair enough. I have the indicators, and I wanted to share with you guys at least what happened last night and why in 7 hours this crypto, not the one on the screen, but the crypto that I purchased last night, went up 75% in 7 hours. Okay. Because if you look at this chart and you see all the different colors instead of the candles, now we can bring back the candles simply by putting them there and then getting rid of the indicator. You see the traditional candles behind the screen there, right? Red and green. But we're going to get rid of the candles and we're going to replace it with this indicator that puts it into a color scheme that has a palette over here that tells you where you're at in the crypto cycle. Now, the beauty of this indicator is that you're looking to buy in fear or max fear. Hear me out. Fear or max fear. You're looking to sell in any of the greed categories. It's got mild greed, greed, high greed, extreme greed, and max euphoria. Okay. And so you can see, according to the color charts, that when you get up into the orange and red, that they are what? The tops of the market. They're the tops. And then, of course, when you see the fear, it doesn't happen at every bottom. Fear does not happen at every bottom, guys. But when you see fear, normally it's a great indication that the market is going to rise. Okay. And because most markets are built on the emotions of the average investor, that's just how it works. And when you understand that, this indicator is just simply fire. And so here's what I'm going to tell you what happened last night. There was a particular coin that we've been following inside my private community that I had actually mentioned as a potential buying opportunity. Now, after I mentioned it, this coin went up, I don't know, like 700%. It was quite crazy. I had a lot of people. This all just happened last week. I had a lot of people telling me, that they made 50% because, you never know where it's going. And we always instruct people to take profits. Now, when I say instruct, please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all just, school of hard knocks, so to speak, and a little bit of prophetic, a little bit of wisdom, and a little bit of, having studied from crypto traders. And so many people, made 50%, 80%, and some people actually went back in because they saw that it was still a lot of volume, and they ended up making more on another run up. And but this particular coin last night, as I was evaluating everything and looking to see what coins I wanted to purchase last night, after I shared this, instructional video to my private community, and okay, I'm not going to clarify that again. I think I'm clear. I bought this coin last night, and the reason is because it was in the extreme fear range. It was an extreme fear. After having, no, it's not. I've already explained this to you guys, that I'm not going to share it. Okay. And so it was in the extreme fear category, guys. And so because it was in the extreme fear category, after a significant run up, I decided that it would probably be a good idea to go ahead and get in, because remember, what do they say? Buy the fear, sell the greed. It's a simple concept, and every trader understands it. The majority of the market, that's why the fear and greed index, okay, the traditional fear and greed index. Well, let me pull that up here so you guys can get an understanding here. Here's the screen for another portal that I use. And if you go to this, it shows you the fear and greed index right here. And you can actually click that. I got to share with you the screen that it now just opened up. And so right here, the fear and greed index is it's from alternative.me. They say this is the most accurate. It updates every day, every 24 hours. And the next update is in 8 hours. But the fear and greed index basically tells you where you are in the market sentiment, where as far as where the traders, people who are invested in the market, you know, what their money, okay, is showing on this gauge, what their money is showing. And so what I'm telling you is, you know, how investors invest can be put into a, you know, a data storehouse and calculate what the sentiment is for investors. And when it's extreme fear, that can be a very good indication that it's time to buy. And so that's how I made my decision last night, guys, because the coin that I was looking at wasn't just in the fear that you can see with the turquoise here. It was actually in max fear. It was in the neon green on the chart, and it was after a, like, let's say it was a run up here, and then it was a pull down here, just like this, and it showed, you know, how this shows fear right here at the bottom, same thing. And it's basically saying that, you know, okay, people started selling, people started selling, people started selling, people started dumping. Okay. When this color changed from like this purple, mild caution, actually that was it turned into blue, which was the caution, and became this green, the dark green, which is concern. This is the concern zone where people started dumping. And you can see that straight line right here too, where they just basically were dumping. And then it went into the fear range. When it went into fear, that's basically, you know, in so many words, saying that it's oversold. It's oversold. And look at now the run up, right? Now this is on a 15-minute. This is on a 15-minute chart. That's not really, no wonder I couldn't find what I was looking for earlier. I was on the 15-minute chart. You don't want to use the 15-minute chart. Sorry, guys. But either way, you can see this works on the daily chart and the 4-hour chart, okay? And it's a, gosh, that's horrible that I didn't even notice that. But it's the same concept. That's so funny. Let me see if I go to the daily chart now. All right. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. See Bitcoin here when it was down in the fear zone. This was all fear right here, because this was the bull run of, you know, 2021. Okay, this was the bull run of 2021. That's why this indicator is called market cycle highs and lows. Market cycle. It's telling you what part of the cycle you are in. And so here you can see the bull run of 2021. All right. And now if we go further back, you could probably have seen some fear, you know, back in this direction if we went further back. But I'm not going to go further back because we have that data right here. But when you buy the fear, okay, now I want you to pay attention here because this is very important. I need you to understand this. If we zoom in on this section right here, okay, which we will, it would look like this. And then, you know, let's say you bought right here because it started entering in the fear zone. All right. And then it started dropping significantly. And you're like freaking out and you're like, what? No. And that's when people get scared and they dump it all. And then it goes into extreme fear. Okay. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. People, unfortunately, the majority of people cannot handle their emotions when it comes to money. And that's why, number one, most people quit and they say they're not good at something in life because they never understand that they have to develop themselves and their temperament. Okay. And I are you giving me permission? Thank you, I think. So anyway, so on this, where are we at? Here it is. So on this, do you see how it looks like such a, and it is a long spread. Let's say you bought here when it first entered the fear, and then it dropped. Guys, that's a 39% drop. Most people would have just gotten out. They would have just taken a loss. Stop losses would have kicked in, you know, whatever. You know, this is why, look at this. The average person does not win because they don't have the temperaments or the temperament. And so here's what I'm showing you. If you would have bought at the top now and just trusted the process, you had upwards of 174. No, sorry, even larger. Look at this. Look at, now I'm going all the way to the top of this sphere here. And we're going to go all the way up to the highest point, 376%. This is like when, you know, who was the character in the Bible who sold his birthright? You do not want to sell your birthright, guys, right? You literally dropped 40%, would have freaked out because you didn't trust the process. This is why these indicators are just slap fire, guys. They are slap fire. You want to buy the fear. Now, I'm not going to tell you that these indicators are your end all be all, 100% prophetic, foreteller of the crypto future, right? But look at this. This is why these indicators are just slap fire. So what I'm telling you, okay? What I'm telling you, do you ever see how some of these coins, you've seen it, because if you've been in crypto long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're in this coin, that coin, and this coin. And all of a sudden, this other coin skyrockets. And you're like, dang, I wish I'd have had that one. And then this other coin does a 12x overnight. And you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have gotten in that one. This is an indicator that tells you where you're at in every cycle of every coin. If I pulled up all these other coins on the charts, guys, you would see some of these are not even in the fear zone. They're in the neutral zone. They're in like like completely neutral. Others are in the max fear zone. People are freaking out. And so you want to know which coins, because when you know that, then you have a better chance, better probability of getting into the next one that is going to be the runner. And that way you don't have to sit there and hold 3 cryptocurrencies and then watch all these coins sporadically take off, because you're going to have the data at your fingertips that are potentially going to show you which coins are in that zone. And so last night when I purchased this coin that I'm telling you that I purchased, that went up 75% in 7 hours. Now, what I did when it did that, is I sold a third of my holdings because that's what you do. You always take profits. Now, depending upon where you believe you are in the crypto cycle, you may not want to sell any of them. But at this stage, I am taking profits because I am banking, watch this, on the prophetic. There are certain moves, there are certain things that I am doing in the crypto space that where I am taking the majority of my bag, and I'm not putting it on these. I'm having what I call tradable liquidity that I have set aside for moves like this. But the majority of my crypto portfolio is in the prophetic insights that God has shown me. All of these links, guys, are in the description section below. Whether you want to be a part of my private community, whether you want to take out this indicator, and there is a coupon. Now, if you are in my private community, you'll get a little bit of a richer discount. But nonetheless, okay, here is, by the way, if you're wanting to know where we are in the Bitcoin cycle, okay, you had this guy comment and said, I feel a bull run is around the corner. Well, you don't need to feel, because we got indicators for that. Look, not only is market sentiment important, okay, now this is Bitcoin, and it's not even in fear yet. It's in concern. Well, it's right now, it's in caution. But all this dark green, oh, here was a little blip right there of fear. And look at what happened, by the way. Let's actually expand that so we can kind of show you the accuracy of these indicators. Look, guys, there's your little blip of fear. If you would have bought the fear, like I tell you, okay, then you would have been able to see this little run up here, okay? Now, you do understand that past results do not guarantee future success, yes? However, I think these things have like an 85% accuracy. It's very nice. If you're trading, you know that's very nice. And so that's my point. This is what it looks like to buy the fear, okay? And what it could have potentially earned you on this particular, this was February of 26, all right? February of 2026, that would have been a 26% run on Bitcoin. 26% on Bitcoin. Come on now. Just the first quarter of this year, guys. Sorry. First half of the year, because it started in February, ended in May. All right. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. If you would have been the guy that was just wise and bought the fear just on Bitcoin, you know, altcoins run larger spreads normally than Bitcoin. But this one, 26% run. All right. And it's just beautiful. I mean, that is just what everybody's looking for. And so that's one indicator. But let me show you the other indicator that, by the way, this is market cycle highs and lows. This one is the Pro Trade Manager. It's not circling. This one is the Pro Trade Manager. What is the Pro Trade Manager? It tells you all the buying opportunities. It prints a dot when it's telling you this is a good entry point. Okay. It prints a dot when it tells you that this is a good entry point. Look at the dots and where they're at, right? Normally right before the runs up. Okay. However, if you look at the not just these little tiny little swing trades, but really the market cycle, what do you see? You see no red dots telling you to sell. And I'm going to show you that here. See all the red dots here? Look at all these red dots back here. Okay. That is basically where the market was. You had buying and selling opportunities because we were in the middle of the bull run. And it was allowing you to take some profits. Well, this right here, when it's showing you all, well, there's a couple of red dots, but let's go back to September of 2025. There's only one red dot here, and it was up here at the top. Imagine that. But my point is look at all the green dots. Look at all the green dots. What is this telling you if you were a fifth grader? Okay. That's why I love these things, because they're so simplified. It's telling you that you are in basically what would be considered the bear cycle. Okay. And the bear cycle is theoretically, please hear me, theoretically the bottom. And why I say theoretically is because it can go lower. But what does that mean for you? Well, it just simply means if you're freaking patient, and even if it does go lower, look, even if it does go lower and you bought in here, normally the bottom of the cycle means that it's going to go up higher. All right. And I know I'm drawing lines that have certain price points. Please understand this is not prophetic. I'm just showing you examples here. Okay. But my point is that if it goes lower and you bought right here, so be it. Because even if it trends down, okay, it's inevitably going to go back up. And we see this often if you go back in history on these charts using these indicators. And the point is, where was the one that I was showing you earlier? Right here. Wait, I just saw it right here. Boom, right there. And I'll expand that. Well, that's not a good example, because there are some where it actually went lower. Here, this is better right here. Right here. See where it entered fear and it kept going lower? And you could have bought in here, like I was saying. But then if you compare it to where it went, this whole fear range was good buying territory. Do you hear what I'm saying, Mike? Okay. This whole fear territory was exceptional. And look at the max fear. Look at what happened right after the max fear. It was the max fear that set it off. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you understand the market sentiment and emotion, ladies and gentlemen, I just can't tell you enough about these indicators. You just might want to go ahead and get yourself an indicator if you haven't yet. So this is how I bought a crypto last night, and in 7 hours, it went up 75%. And I ended up selling a third of it to take my profits, and I'm leaving the rest in because I know where we're at in the cycle. And also, I can show you this as well. See this whole run up that we talked about? All right. Because if you would have bought down here, you have all these opportunities where it printed. And remember, when we stretch all this stuff out, it's going to look much, these little moves look much bigger now. But the point is remember the red. What does that indicate? High greed. You're entering in the greed territory, which means it's not normally sustainable, and you'll experience potential pullbacks. And so you could have sold, taken some profits, and then you could have rolled them over and bought down here. All right. and so on and so forth. And that's the name of the game, is to rinse and repeat as best as you can. Obviously, each and every strategy or move that you make will be determined by, you know, your trading strategies. But when you're using these indicators, you know, you'll learn just like anybody else, the easy way and the hard way. And, you know, some people get greedy and they'll try to sell it all, and then thinking that they're going to put it all back in lower and rinse and repeat faster because they're just hungry. The problem is that's not disciplined, and then it ends up going up further. And then when it finally does have a pullback, it's not even as low as where they sold. And so now they're trying to chase the run up. You know what I mean? So, you know, the strategies will be, you'll develop those over time, even after purchasing the indicator. You'll still come up with your own, you know, and we talk about these strategies inside the private community. I just did. I just gave you the hurt or the pain that normally cultivates the discipline in people. That's it, guys. I wanted to share this with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at where silver is today. It's at 57. I'm going to pull up the candles here. By the way, 57 is good considering, because remember, it had bottomed out at 54. And so I believe that's the inevitable bottom. I don't believe it's going to go lower than that. So, you know, it came up a total of roughly 5% in the past 2 days. So a day and a half, because we're not completed the candle yet. We're still in the middle of the day. So we'll see what happens. But I expect, you know, I don't know that we're going to necessarily experience the fast run up right yet. I don't know when that'll happen. But the Lord did show me the specific price point where I'm selling all my silver once again. And, you know, that's kind of sounds a bit, you know, maybe hypocritical, because I just got done talking about, you know, not selling everything. But that's because I'm talking about the difference between using technical analysis, which is what these indicators use, versus the prophetic. But all of these things are in the description section below, guys. Have at it. Take your pick. I'm telling you, you know, when I can buy a coin. Last night, as I'm going to bed, quite late, actually. Last night was a late night for me. And it was like 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. Or sorry, 9 a.m. Or thereabouts, it went up, you know, 75%. Like, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And I don't know if you call that a win, but I call that a win. And so anyhow, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for, you know, your interest in the content. Of course, why don't you go ahead and click all the bells and whistles to help me with the algorithm to show your support. If you're not inside my private community, obviously the opportunity to join will be in the description section below. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. Blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.